Hello, hello, guys. It is so good to see you all again. Honestly, it is. I so look forward to this community. I look forward to us as nurses supporting each other, cheering each other on, helping each other through these situations, and just nursing itself as a whole. Remember, I told you we're doing this every day. And I'm looking forward to what it's growing into and what it's going to be a safe place for nurses, a judgment-free zone. Um, Never has been judgment. There won't be any judgment here. So, with that, I'm going to dive right into it. And in that same vein of no judgment, I want to start with a question. And there's no pressure to answer it out loud. But who are you when you're not at work? If that question feels uncomfortable or hard to answer, you are not by yourself. Um, Today, that's what we're going to talk about. What happens when nursing becomes your whole identity? Most nurses don't lose themselves all at once. It happens slowly. There's long shifts, emotional labor, putting everyone else's needs first. Over time, you find that the hobbies you once loved, they start to fade. The rest that you're supposed to get and you used to get, that disappears. And just the things that bring you joy, you find that those things are even postponed. And eventually, work becomes the only place where you recognize yourself. When people ask, what do you do? It's very easy to say, I'm a nurse. But for many nurses, that answer carries a lot more weight because it has become who you are. And it's not just about what you do, unfortunately. And when that role becomes so exhausting, it can feel like you are exhausting. So when you think about it, and it's sad to say, but there's this quiet grief that comes with identity loss. Oh, this is so sad to say. And I know it firsthand. It's like you end up grieving for the version of yourself who used to laugh more, the one who used to rest without feeling guilty, the one who had interests and loved to do things outside of nursing. Do you remember those days? And it's okay to miss that that version of you that was so adventurous, that looked forward to going to the lounge on Friday nights to go dancing, the version of you that looked forward to getting together with the girls for brunch, the you that did not miss your spa day because you understood and recognized how important that spa day was for yourself. It's okay to miss that version of you. And like I know, many nurses feel guilty for wanting more than work and rest. Again, sometimes you feel like, and I don't know, sometimes if you're a religious person or just someone who's really self aware, you'll often say, I should be grateful for what I have. There's so many people who don't even have this opportunity. They don't have the opportunity to make the money that I make. They don't have the opportunity to do the things that I do, to be able to travel the places that I travel. Or sometimes you just tell yourself, well, when I was younger and didn't have the obligations I do now, I lived that life. But this is adulthood, almost like it's a bid, like it's a prison sentence. And this is where you are now. But wanting joy and creativity or wanting space doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It just means that you're human. And we all are. So we have to show ourselves grace. That is one of the words that I live by because I know how easy it is to extend that grace to others and not extend it to yourself. Very easy, especially in nursing, because we're so used to giving ourselves away. We're so used to putting everyone else first. So it's very easy to extend grace to others. And we don't turn that around and we do not extend the same grace to ourselves. We're very hard on ourselves, very hard on our bodies. And you can take a look at that if you've ever worked 12 and a half hours and you realize you did not stop once to go to the bathroom, knowing that your bladder is beyond full. We push our bodies to the limit. And what we don't recognize is that this type of burnout puts us in survival mode. It puts you in survival mode. And in survival mode, everything that is non-essential, it all disappears. It's not important. And it's not because it doesn't matter. It's because you just don't have the capacity. You don't have the capacity. How can you fit more into your cup when your cup is already full? And it's not even full of things that's going to keep you balanced. It's full of these other things that have now taken priority in your life. So I understand that losing yourself, it wasn't a failure. You didn't lose yourself because you failed. It was a coping strategy, a coping mechanism. And we all know what that looks like. We know just how amazingly brilliant these bodies of ours are. The fact that we can do things that are detrimental to our body, and our body finds ways to compensate, and it will compensate, and it'll compensate time and time again until it just cannot compensate anymore. So, this is what we do. We lose ourselves, and we lose ourselves because it became a coping strategy. So we understand there's a lot of pressure to find yourself again. You see movies about it, you see books about it. People who just all of a sudden had a break and this epiphany, and they went to the airport and they just bought a ticket to the first place they saw and they rediscovered and they found themselves. We put this kind of pressure on ourselves to find ourselves again. But you don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to have a new passion or a big life change. That's what society would want us to believe, but that's not what we need. Sometimes it's just as simple as making room for ourselves, making room for the person we were, making room for the things that once brought us joy, making room for the things that keep us and help us remain grounded. So ask yourself, What used to bring me peace? What did I enjoy before everything felt so heavy? What part of me feels most neglected? I don't want you to think about fixing it or planning it. Just notice, what are those things that no longer have place in your life, that's been pushed aside, that's been relegated to the background? In this series we're about to start, we're going to talk about rebuilding our identities slowly. Again, remember, it's not about adding more to our plate, but it's about reconnecting with what already exists, the loves we already have, the passions we already have. And just like this video isn't about doing, it's about remembering. And sometimes it can make you a little emotional to remember those days, but it isn't to bring you to a place of sadness. It's to bring you to a place of awareness. Be aware of what that looks like for you, what it looked like then. And of course, no one is telling you that you have to recreate your past, but it's about looking in anticipation for what your future looks like, because you deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve to put you first and to see that more than your needs are met, but see that your wants are met too. So if nursing has become your whole identity, it doesn't mean that you're lost forever. It just means that you've been giving a lot of yourself. So, no, you are more than your role as a nurse. And you don't have to become someone new. Just make space to come back to yourself. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to rest here. And that's what this space is. This is a space where you can find rest. This is a space where you can communicate with other nurses, to know that you're not in it by yourself, to know that we're here to encourage, we're here to rally around each other, we're here to say that boundaries are not only possible, they're necessary. So I invite you to join me again tomorrow, and we're going to dive deeper into this as we prepare for this series. But I'm looking forward to seeing you back again. So until then, friends, take care and be well. I'll see you guys soon.